Okay, you saw that little snippet. This is pre-recorded again. Pre-recorded, and I'm trying to get the light, the glare off my glasses again. Anyway, this is a pre-recorded show. You are seeing this on Tuesday, so happy Tuesday. Shout out to everybody that tuned in for Tip Tuesday. This is the 8th day of February and the 27th episode of Season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. Try it. I'm sure you'll like it. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative and the creator of what we're now calling the Hero Ministry Movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire all people, but primarily the unhoused community. That said, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space and opportunity to have this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And you can make a donation to them. It is a 501c3 nonprofit. So you can just go to in as in Nancy, T as in Thomas, media.org to make a donation and check out the other programming on the channel and check out the radio programming as well, because there is a radio show. Okay, all that said, if this show provides any value, please donate, please like, please comment, please share. All those things help the algorithm, and help other people find the show. And the show is here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. All right, that's what we're doing. Oh, speaking of doing, this is season 3, and the theme for season 3 is doing, like my hoodie says. Yes, I've got the doing video. So we are doing, which means in the context of season 3, the goal is to take action in terms of creating a better financial future for yourself and for your friends and family and those around you, but mainly for yourself, because you gotta help yourself before you can help others. That's a good lesson. Just like I want to use the analogy that people use all the time. When the mask comes down in the airplane, you've got to put your mask on before you help others. So same kind of thing. Help yourself financially first before you help others. All right, that was an unexpected sidebar, but there we go. Okay, so Hero Ministry Movement News. Obviously, I don't know who's commenting in the chat because this is pre-recorded, but shout out to everybody who's tuning in. And I didn't see any comments from yesterday, unless I missed them. But I didn't see any comments I needed to respond to from yesterday. So we're just going to start fresh based on some of the things I talked about yesterday and some of the things that I want to talk about today. So, Hero Ministry Movement News, run streak. Today, on the day that you're seeing this, I will be on day 253 of my run streak. I haven't done that yet, so I've got no run story, but I can tell you about 252. Let me tell you about 252. If you haven't seen the run story yet, go check it out on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. 252 was a tough day, and I said in my run report that I never know when they're going to happen. What I've noticed, however, is that if I stick to a schedule, it makes it easier. So my goal is to start running in the 6 a.m. hour. I don't have a specific start time, but before 7 a.m., my goal is to be running. And so I didn't do that yesterday. And that became challenging. It became much more challenging to get myself up and out. So you'll see the run report if you check it out, and you'll see it in real time. I had to trick myself to get out there on day 252. But that said, I still did it. I got a mile and a half in yesterday on day 252. And again, I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for 252 days in a row. So I got to pat myself on the back and stop, being upset at myself for how long it took me to get out and run and other things like that. It's amazing how quickly we can pull at ourselves, that inner critic, the judge. Ooh, all right, let me circle back to the judge in a minute. Okay, that said, segue into the charity run. So as of yesterday, Monday, we were at 50%. 50%, and I think I mentioned that before, but I did not say that my Auntie Dot, was the one who took us to 50%. So very excited for that. Auntie Dot took us to 50%, and we're at 50%. And hopefully by the time you're seeing this, we'll be beyond 50%. Shout out to everyone who has shared this story, who has shared the GoFundMe link, that has shared my website that has the GoFundMe link on it. Please continue to share. more and more people are getting excited about it as they hear about it. So we just have to, I mean, it's very familiar to us because we talk about it all the time, but we have to remember that other people haven't heard about it at all. So spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so that said, anything else about the 30-day streak challenge? No, I think we're good on the 30-day streak challenge. Again, I invite everyone who hasn't officially signed up to try it for yourself. Complete 30 consecutive days of doing something, and set the bar very low because you're trying to make it to 30 consecutive days. Don't think about what you want to complete in a day. Think about the fact that you want to make it to 30 consecutive days. So that's my tip for that. And envelope challenge. All right, so I'm rolling the dice in advance for Tuesday. So this will be the number for Tuesday. Oh, this will be good because I already know the number for Tuesday after I roll this. And the number is $3 moving from checking into a bucket of your choosing. And remember to set a goal for your bucket, both a monetary goal and an investment goal. How much you want to accumulate before you invest and where you want to invest. So $3 is the number for Tuesday. Okay, so any other news? Yes, I've been experimenting a little bit today. So today, Monday, with the podcast. So take a look at Get Rich 101 and the sekouwrites podcast on Instagram, both of them. I tried a new thing where I posted a very small snippet of the audio into Instagram itself. So you can hear some of the podcast without having to go to the link and tune in that way. So anyway, those of you who are on Instagram and active, go check that out. Let me know what you think. I'm experimenting with that. All right, I think that's it for the news for now. More news coming up soon. And let's go back to the morning's end. So this is my circle back when I said I wanted to come back to the judge. So as you know, I've been taking the 30-day mental diet class again with Reverend Melissa. And that show wraps up today. Today is the last class. Tuesday is the last class. And I've completed the reading and I'm still cobbling together some of my notes. Like there were a couple days that I had some technical difficulties. So because I write my notes on computer, not by hand. So anyway, I've got a couple of my notes together so I can have my block of wisdom for myself from the 30-day mental diet. I'm excited about doing that. But that said, as promised, I wanted to circle back to the 4 Agreements. That's a book that I've been reading simultaneously in my morning practice. And there are some really good takeaways. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I haven't even completed the book, but it's been a book that's been recommended to me so many times. And I always thought, yeah, I'll get to it. And it's really compelling. I understand why people have recommended it. And it's short. It's very short. So check it out. Anyway, so here's a thought from the 4 Agreements. As the name suggests, there are 4 agreements in the book that it's suggesting for you to have a better life. And the first one is be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. And this part really stood out to me from that chapter. It's a redefinition of sin. I've never heard sin defined in this way. So let's check it out. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything. Being without sin is exactly the opposite. Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. Deep stuff, right? So I'm just going to repeat a part of it. A sin is anything you do which goes against yourself. I mean, that's enough right there. That's enough right there. But just to read a little further, a sin is anything you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. Very interesting concept of sin, right? And you see why I said I would circle back to the judge, because in this book, it postulates that all of us have a judge and a victim in our minds. All of us the judge and the victim come pre-installed in all of us. And in some of us, those are bigger than others. And sometimes the judge is bigger than the victim, or the victim is bigger than the judge, depending upon who we are and how we are. But the judge and the victim are big parts of our personality. And we have to work with ourselves to not judge ourselves, not judge others, and also to not play the victim, not play in the pity party pool. The pity party pool. That's a fun visual. The pity party pool. Get out the pity party pool and stop judging yourself. So really impactful ideas. And the idea that sin is you not doing, no, let me not use the word not. The idea of sin being you going against yourself is a powerful one, because we've all learned not to sin. Even those of us that aren't religious, we've all learned not to sin. So that idea of thinking of sin as something that entails you going against the grain of yourself, that's a powerful idea. So anyway, all that said, that is the first of the 4 agreements from the 4 agreements. And I highly recommend the book. And I'll be reading from that book. Maybe, I was trying to figure out if it'll only take 4 days. I mean, technically it'll take 4 days, but probably there'll be more to talk about than just what I read in those 4 days. Anyway, I'll be talking about the 4 agreements, and I might circle back to the 30 Day Mental Diet. That is the Morning Zen for today, Tuesday, the 8th of February. Okay, so let's get into abundance. So, affirmation: I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. You guys should say that at home. Like, don't just let me say it by myself. You should say it at home. Drill it in. Make it a part of the way you see the world. Okay, so quick reminder: poor people spend, the middle class saves, but the wealthy invests. You want to be wealthy, you need to be investing. It's not optional. Okay, so today is Tip Tuesday, and today's tip comes to us from Shaquille O'Neal. We've talked about Shaq a lot on the show here and there. So Shaq tells this story that I'll retell. He says that he was out somewhere early in his career. He was making a lot of money, and he met a man that said to him, "You're rich, Shaq, but I'm wealthy." And Shaq was able to get past his ego and not be offended enough that he asked, "What does that mean?" And the guy said, "Well, what that means is wealth is a measure of time." I'm ad-libbing a little bit, but wealth is a measure of time. If I pass away, my children and my children's children and my children's children's children won't have to work, because that's wealth. But rich, if you pass away at any time, then the money's all gone. The faucet dries up. And so Jack started asking questions of him and other people about how to become wealthy. And one of the things he was told by someone, I'm not even sure if it was the same guy, but one of the things he was told was to save and invest. Save and invest 70%. I'm sorry. See, I got tongue-tied because the number is just so hard to say. He was told to save and invest 75% of his income. You heard me, 75%. Now, at the time, Shaq was a big-time basketball player, so he was making a lot of money, so 25% of his income was still a decent amount of money. But still, 75%, just conceptually, investing 75% of what you earn is a tall order. But Shaq said he did it. He figured it out and started, using the 25% for whatever he wanted. But 75%, he started squirreling away and investing it. You know the rest. Shaq is known as an investor now. He's known for all the different things that he's invested in. But that is the story he credits with moving him in that direction. So for those of us that can, reach for 75% of your income to invest. 75%. Hey, I know it's a big number, 75% to invest. Because the idea is, if you can do that for a long enough period, then the 75% that you've invested over there starts paying you back. It doesn't just stay over there. It pays you back in other ways. So that now, let's use the same example. Now Shaq is being paid by all these other investments. He doesn't need basketball. Obviously, he's not playing anymore, but he doesn't need an income in basketball because all his investments are paying him, right? So it's a long-term play, but you got to believe in it, and you got to go heavy into the investment world to see that kind of return. So all this brings me back to yesterday's story. So yesterday I talked about this article from the Motley Fool, which is a cool resource to check out. Just be mindful that every time you read an article, the last paragraph is going to say, hey, buy more information. Hey, there's a secret about this article, but you got to spend money to find out what it is. So be mindful of that. But there's really good information at the Motley Fool, M-O-T-L-E-Y, Fool, F-O-O-L. Okay, so that said, I was reading an article yesterday about how if you invested in these 3 stocks, you could create an annual income of $7,000. And so that article suggested that you divide your $100,000 into 3 stocks and invest equally in those 3 stocks and let the dividends pay you $7,000 per year, which averages out to about $580 per month. Okay, so that's not life-changing money, but it kind of is though. Like if you think about it differently, if you shift your mindset about it, if you only think about the amount, it's not that big a deal. But if you think about the fact that your money is paying you, and there's no checks and balances. There's no government involved. There's no program you're into. Like this is just you investing your money and your money pays you back. That's pretty revolutionary. So again, the idea for that article was take $100,000, divide it into 3 high dividend yielding stocks, and then get paid $7,000 per month. So that made me think, well, what if we go down the rabbit hole a little bit more? What if we think about another amount? Like what if instead of $580 a month, you wanted $1,000 a month? So where did I go? I went to Google and I Googled some things around that. And it was suggested in one of the sources that I read that if you invested about $400,000 in the stock market, you could earn about $12,000 per year, which comes out to $1,000 per month. Again, you're thinking right now about the $400,000, I know, but think about the $1,000 per month. Think about that part. Think about the fact that you're paying yourself. Let me rephrase that your money is paying you $1,000 per month. That's pretty epic. That's pretty epic. So back to the $400,000. So we are talking about lump sums, but we're talking about lump sums, and I think 2 things are coming up for me as we talk about these lump sums. Number one, I'm sure you're thinking, well, where can I get that kind of money? But most of us own homes. So you could take out some of the equity of your home and put it in the stock market and use that to fund this, this lump sum in the stock market that's going to pay you back. Now, again, I'm not making that suggestion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you some theoreticals. So theoretically, you could refinance your home. You could take a lump sum from the refinance, put it in the stock market, and then that lump sum will generate this kind of money. So let's just say you refinanced for $400,000 and you put that in the stock market. Then all of a sudden you've got your $12,000 per year, $1,000 per month, and that money is not lost to you. Like that $400,000 is still appreciating in value. Like obviously, time out. Obviously, I'm not talking about just willy-nilly picking stocks in the stock market. We've talked about that extensively now. And I've told you that I'm curbing my habit of trying to pick a winner. Ooh, this stock is going to do well. Ooh, this stock is going to do well. I don't do that anymore. For the most part, just to be in integrity, for the most part, I don't do that anymore. For the most part, I gravitate towards index funds and ETFs, where you've got a built-in diversity. You've got a built-in lower risk because there's multiple companies within these ETFs and within these index funds. So assuming that you're investing in index funds and ETFs, the market generally rewards patience. The market generally will return 10% or better if you're not out there trying to pick winners. Meaning you're not saying, all right, my cousin, his company just went public, I'm gonna give him a lot of money and we're gonna buy in at 10 cents and we're gonna hope it's gonna go to $10,000 per share. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. If you're investing in index funds, ETFs, and the FANG growth stocks, the tried and true, the blue chip stocks, then you can be relatively certain that you'll make about 10% on your investment. Anyway, so circling back, if you took that lump sum, $400,000, you put it in the stock market, and you start getting that $12,000 back, $1,000 per year, there's multiple advantages. Not only are you getting $1,000 per month, not only is your money paying you $1,000 per month, but it continues to grow, because even though you're reaping the reaping the dividends, you're using the dividends to earn your $1,000 per month, it's still appreciating in value over time. It's like if you just go to any of the brokerage houses and you look at, let's say, the chart for the S&P 500, it's just a steady climb up. It takes time, but it's a steady climb up. So even though you're taking the dividends, it's still growing, right? And so you can make capital gains money by selling that stock later, or you can use it as net worth because it's a part of your investment portfolio. So it's still benefiting you. It's not like you spent it on something. Not like you spent it on lottery tickets or something, and then you got $1,000 per month. No, you're getting $1,000 per month, and also your $400,000 that you put over there is continuing to grow. It's continuing to grow, right? So all that is pretty exciting when you think about it, that you could literally create your own trust fund. And you remember, I'm sure you've heard people talk about trust fund babies. You can create your own trust fund just by being vigilant and dedicating, in this case, 75% of your income to your future. And then soon, immediately your future starts paying you back. Because I mentioned my Auntie Dot earlier in the show. I gave her $1 of Coca-Cola when we first started investing in the pandemic. Just, still trying to figure it out. I gave her $1 worth of Coca-Cola stock on Cash App. That $1 worth of Coca-Cola is paying her dividends. Like, all you need is $1 in the game before you start getting dividends. So if you're getting dividends on $1, imagine how many dividends you'll get if you've got $400,000 or $100,000 in the stock market in the right place. That's incredible to think about. Your money will literally be paying you. I know I've said it a bunch of times, but I love that concept of your money working for you while you're sleeping, continuing to make you money. And yes, when you do get those $1,000 per month payments, you have to pay taxes. But still, you've got this money that you can rely on, that you don't have to jump through any hoops for. It's yours. You created it. It's paying you. All right. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. And that tip for Tip Tuesday comes to us from Shaq. Shaq says, invest 75%, or save to invest 75%. Like, you got to put it in a bucket, fine, but then go invest 75%, use 25%, use and live off of 25%. And then soon that 75% will pay you back. So that may make a difference to some of you in terms of how much money you're investing per month or per check. Like, you want to be as aggressive as you can be, because the more you put in, the more you get back, much like life. Okay, all that said, a couple quick side notes. I've heard today that McDonald's has started accepting Ethereum. Ethereum is the second biggest cryptocurrency. The biggest that we've all heard about is Bitcoin. So it's Bitcoin and then Ethereum. So I've heard, and I say it that way because I haven't fact checked it yet, but I heard today that McDonald's has started accepting Ethereum, which means if you buy a Big Mac at McDonald's with Ethereum, because Ethereum is so expensive, it's going to cost you about $75 for a Big Mac. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, the mainstreaming of cryptocurrency is continuing. And also, we should all have exposure to cryptocurrency. And also, it's becoming easier and easier to have exposure to cryptocurrency because now you don't necessarily have to buy cryptocurrency. McDonald's is in the game, assuming that the article I read is correct. McDonald's is in the game. You can just buy stock in McDonald's, which is a publicly traded company, which is a part of the S&P 500, which brings us right back to index funds. Just buy index funds. Just buy the S&P 500. We're talking about 500 of the biggest companies in the United States. Why try to figure out the winner? Just get the S&P 500. Those 500 companies are all trying to figure out, I imagine that most of those companies are trying to figure out how to mainstream cryptocurrency for their needs. So you don't have to try to figure out how to invest in cryptocurrency. You can just get the S&P 500. If you want direct exposure to McDonald's, you can buy an individual stock. But in my estimation, based on this journey of abundance and learning about the stock market, it seems much safer to me to invest in index funds and ETFs because there's multiple companies in the fund. Oh, and also REITs, real estate investment trusts. There's multiple companies in the fund. And so if something happens to one, there'll be others to prop it up. But do your own research, do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what I have observed. Okay, so was that it? Yeah, I think that's it. So since I got a couple minutes, I just want to show you something really quick. Someone said when I showed the candlesticks the other day that they couldn't see them clearly. So just a reminder, I have started studying trading in general. And then I fell in love with Japanese candlesticks, which is simply a method by which to read not only the stock market, but any of the markets that have a chart, a graph. So this is what the candlesticks look like. These are naked candlesticks. The green candlesticks represent buying, and the red candlesticks represent selling. Do I have that right? I'm pretty sure I have that right. Green. I'm still learning, so bear with me. But I think the green represents buyers, and the red represents sellers. And this chart, when you superimpose it on an actual financial stock chart, looks something like this. Now, this is very confusing, obviously, right? But if you tune out all the extra stuff, if you tune out the numbers and the percentage change and the squigglies and the blur and all that, and you just focus in on the red and green chart, the red and green graph, you'll see that it's distended a little bit, like it's not in proportion. They've used some kind of effect that has taken it out of proportion. But there is an existence in the mess that is this photo. This red and green candlesticks. I hope you can see them. There's at least 3 sets of red and green candlesticks. And each of these candlesticks represents a different amount of money, a different story, a different piece of information about what the stock market is doing. So anyway, I'll continue to talk about that in a bit. I'm out of time now. So check out Prayer Time by logging out of where you're watching this and going over to watch New Thought Media Network. Well, if you're already watching on New Thought Media Network, it'll just pop up automatically. But if you're watching this elsewhere, come out and go back in to watch Prayer Time, and then check out Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. And until I see you tomorrow, I think I'll be live on Wednesday. Until I see you tomorrow, keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect for investing in later. I'll see you later.